Come on in, circle in. This is a 250,000 gallon tank. It's actually one of our smaller tanks. We have 2.5 million gallon size tanks. This is one of 16 tanks that we have in our system. These pumps actually pull water off of this tank and pump to the higher elevated tank up here, we call upper ridge. The two pumps combined only pump about 180 gallons a minute, which is really small for us. We install these pumps, we do everything in-house. We're gonna go down, we're at one of our well sites. This is well 20. Our guys did all the concrete. They did all the fencing in this place. They installed the building. This is one of our biggest wells. This is our newest well. This well right now pumps out about 1,000 gallons a minute. It's capable of pumping up to 2,500 gallons a minute. 1,000 gallons a minute, you can fill 1,000 milk jugs in 1 minute. We have 13 wells, and at every well we have chlorine. It's in our injection pump. It's actually what injects the chlorine into the well. You know, when we get a leak outside and out in the field on our pipe, they're gonna demonstrate to you guys how we repair our leaks. We wanna repair it with the pressure because we don't want the pressure to drop below a certain PSI, because what happens if the pressure drops too low? We introduce air, and what happens when we introduce air? Bacteria, right? And when Gary turns this on, it exercises the valve, so it'll turn it so many bars, open it back up, and just keep exercising, keep turning and up and down, up and down.
I always bring everyone in here first so I can explain what the membranes are. But we have 3 tanks that are filled with about 80 of these in each one. And it's just a filtration process. Clean water gets pulled through. This is perforated all throughout there. The solids are left behind, and this kind of just shakes, wiggles, and jiggles and sloughs the solids out. That's a 420,000 gallon tank over there. And when the flow gets too low, like everyone's sleeping at night, we're not getting flow anymore, a valve will open up, bring water from the EQ basin into the influent pump station just to maintain that level. From that level, we pump to the grid structure. Water flows over the bowl, heavy stuff settles out in the bowl, and eventually you pump it out. Everything goes through our aeration basin and gets treated. This is not a big old giant vat of poopy. This right here is our bugs, our biology. What it does here is the raw influent comes in. This 500,000 gallons is going around in a circle at about 2,600 gallons per minute right now. And the raw water comes in. What we're doing there is we're breaking down the ammonia. We're turning the ammonia into nitrite or nitrate. The nitrate right here is getting starved of air. So what the bugs are doing, they're looking for air. So they're stripping the oxygen molecule off of the nitrate, and the nitrate turns into nitrogen gas. So just like the human life cycle, these bugs have to be maintained at a certain age. If you're too old, you eat a little bit, but you don't do any work. If you're too young, you're just eating, you're not doing any work either. So we kind of want those teenagers, those ones that want to work hard, they want to reproduce as much as possible. So we got to keep these bugs at a certain age. Those membranes that we had on the wall, that's where these are. Basically what you're hearing here is air. We're pulling water through a straw, right? So solids are getting sucked up to that straw. And when we release the air, we let the air shake, wiggle, and jiggle the solids off of it. And those pumps at the very end that are bringing those solids back around in front for some more food. Going around and around in a circle. Go on in. You'll see these tanks over here. Thickened sludge gets pumped into these tanks. That's where we add that polymer for those totes over there. It forces the solids to kind of clump together where the water's getting squeezed out of those little perforations, and hopefully we get a drier, what we call cake at the end. So this is our laboratory. We are not a certified lab, so we still have to send our samples out that are required by the state to a certified lab. We run tests here every day to try to figure out how we did the day before. We want to know before we get lab results 12 days down the road if something's going wrong. So we're running periodic tests.
Visit www.hdwd.com.